Today's question comes from Jason in Texas. Jason writes, I've been a huge fan for 20 years, but have not been able to implement any of your strategies because, just take a pause right there. My wife thinks tithing and the rest of your methods are too restrictive. She stopped going to church a long time ago and refuses to forgive me for things that happened in our past. The ministers that I've consulted with say she has emotionally and spiritually abandoned me years ago. Oh, man. My 18-year-old watches your videos and loves them. She keeps asking, why didn't you and Mom do all this stuff? It seems to work really well. I'm trying to explain why, but don't want to throw her mom under the bus. Is there a way a 52-year-old can start over in life and help a daughter become all she can be? Oh, yes.
They do it all the time.
Yeah, all the time. I don't want to minimize, Jason, I don't want to minimize your pain. Here's what your daughter really needs. To quote our friend Jocko, she needs you to take ownership. You look back over your life, and it's because your wife did this, your wife didn't do that, it's because of this. What she needs you to say is, I didn't. I made some choices along the way. And here's where I find myself, and here's what I'm going to do with these next steps, and here's what you can do too. And there's something about that ownership that's really powerful.
So it sounds like there's a chasm in this relationship. Is this due for an ultimatum? Like you go see a marriage counselor and you say, I'm going to go see a counselor, and if we can't begin to get on the same page and resolve some of these things, then we're going to call this?
The way it writes is there a way to start over? I was just assuming that they've called it. Yeah, they've called it. So
now, it sounds like he has. The ministers have given him permission, is in his mind.
Right.
But I don't think he's looked at her and said,
this is done. It's time for me to move on.
It's unless we can heal,
right.
This is done.
That's right.
There's zero chance of a healing, or?
Yeah, I mean, if your spouse left you emotionally and spiritually and physically years and years ago, then yeah, these kids have grown up in a home, and that's their picture of what love looks like. That's their picture of what marriage and partnership and communication and connection looks like. And so healing starts with, I should have had a hard conversation a long, long time ago, and I didn't. And this is the law.
Basically, they've been divorced. They just need to actually formalize it.
They've been divorced for a long time, and
they just need to formalize.
They've modeled what that looks like to their kids.
Yeah.
And so it starts with ownership. Here's some choices I didn't make, right, a long, long time ago. And here's more importantly, or as importantly, is here's what I'm going to start doing now, and I'd love you to join me. And I think it's that complicated, and that hard, and that simple.
Yeah, when we went through bankruptcy and lost everything, it terrorized me and traumatized Sharon. And so that's a thing I did that she had to forgive me for, in a sense, because I basically, I always laugh and say she thought she married Sir Galahad. Turns out it was Goober. But but that's, the truth is she was left with a situation, but I was not going on, there's a period of time that we can recognize the terror that she felt, the trauma from having little kids and no money, and the water got turned off because her husband's a buffoon, right? Okay, granted. But 5 years later, we're not still talking about that.
No, then she's choosing to carry that stuff around
and
weaponize it.
And I'm not gonna be at the other end of that weapon ad infinitum.
Right. Once somebody says I'm staying.
So, dude, 20 years ago you did something. After 4 years of that, everything after 4 years is your fault.
If you choose to carry that thing around.
He accepted the paralyzation of the household for 16 years longer than he should have.
That's right.
He should have dealt with her.
That's right. A long, long time ago.
Lack of healing.
That's right.
And it was not that she didn't have a valid reason for being pissed. I don't know what he did.
Right.
But I know what I did. I lost everything, and it's my fault. Sharon had no idea what was going on. It wasn't her fault. I didn't hide it from her. I just didn't ask her.
Right.
And she didn't know. And so she's left feeling, like you're driving down the road in the middle of the night and you hit a patch of ice and the car starts spinning.
Yeah, that's a great
And you know you're going to hit something. You just don't know what.
Or when.
And and that's where she was for a year and a half period of time as we went down the toilet financially, and round and around we go. And so, yeah, granted, and today even, we've got checks and balances in our relationship in place so that she's not left feeling like I'm somehow out of control again.
That's right. Because that little seed.
That was 30 years
ago. That's right. And how old was Rachel when all this happened?
Born. Baby.
She was a baby. So when I think about my friend Rachel, we've talked about this, when she has a emergency fund for her emergency fund, those seeds were planted in money could be scarce, or money's a thing, right? And those are long ago, right? So
she
sit
felt
with your
that
daughter.
tension from her mom.
Sit with your daughter and have that conversation right here, Jason.
Exactly.
Take ownership, brother.
Yeah, past time to take ownership. This is The Ramsey Show.